All right. Hello and welcome to Episode 7 of the Sardonic Surfs. I'm your host, Tommy, and today I have Jansen with me.
Hello.
Yeah, he's full of energy today. We're both very excited. The news is
Yeah.
exciting today. Today we're obviously going to be talking about the election. Because today seems like the actual day of the election. Um, but before we get into that, I'm gonna go ahead and chill a little bit. So we currently have 12 subscribers to date. So if you like our videos, go ahead and subscribe. If you like this video, hit like. If you like this video enough to share it, I'd recommend it. Any kind of PR, any kind of anybody talking about us would be nice. As always, if you leave a comment, we'll respond to it. When we get enough comments, we're gonna do a comment response video, and maybe we'll keep that up too. We'll see what happens. Yep. And today we're going to be talking about how it seems like Joe Biden has won. So go ahead and show you a very recent picture of Joe Biden here, looking as handsome as ever. Um, yeah, so it's interesting. A lot of people that I talked to, they didn't see it coming. And for the last few days, like the first day, like the actual day of the election, I thought it was going to be Trump for sure. And it's been interesting how like it seems like every night, like overnight, Biden like gets like a slightly like like a sliver, like more of that 50% or whatever.
Yeah.
But I
See,
don't know. Did you
yeah, I
see?
haven't,
Oh, sorry. What was that?
I haven't really talked to like a lot of people. Like, how has the reaction in like the middle of nowhere been?
It's been interesting talking about like the voter fraud and stuff. Like that's been like the main like article of discussion. Like
Gotcha.
a lot of people that I talk to now seem to have the belief that somehow through the manipulation through the courts and like through recounts and shit, Trump is gonna like win just barely. Like they
That's
knew that Trump was gonna win like he did on Hillary, so they cheated to tip the scale.
Did they forget that like for the last 4 years we've been like hardcore looking at we agreed 4 year within the last 4 years like that our elections are not being manipulated in that way. So for them that side to suddenly be like our elections are being manipulated in all these Republican run cities by the Democrats and George. It just doesn't make any sense. Like it's the exact same thing that happened like 4 years ago.
Another
Only
like
like
another beautiful thing is that it's interesting that they've kind of verified and like done away with the idea that like other countries have something to do with the election. Like,
yeah,
hey, it turns out that all countries have something to do with the elections for both sides, and that you can't really blame China on this one, my guy. But more than that, the one that I hear the most is the one about how there's more votes than voters in Nevada, and I also heard the rumor that there was some kind of computer error with the automatic ballot counting in Nevada that made several districts that was supposed to be Trump go to Biden, and that they're calling for like hand recounts of all those districts.
I mean they can call for whatever you want, like or whatever they want, but like it's not gonna like that's not gonna change it. Like I've seen these same people talking about how the only way to solve the issue is for us to have a revote. Like it's not like they're people are grasping at straws right now.
Yeah, I don't know. The
A
one thing I
glitch
will
in
say
a
is that
system. Sorry.
the I'm just the mail-in ballots thing, like how large that is, like how it's been largely included. Like it turns out after all that like it was a security risk, and like there are like kind of some unavoidable security problems that come along with it. But at the same time, the entire country just kind of decided that we're just going to do that. So
I mean
I don't know. Trump's trying
it's
to pull
not
this like I told you if they did mail-in ballots I would lose. I told you.
it is inaccurate to call it a security like there are issues, yeah, but like categorically, like when an issue is discovered, like an issue is fixed. Like the old woman that they, dragged out on stage in Nevada never actually went to try to get her issues solved, you know? And she had voted twice.
Hmm.
Like it
Yeah. Well,
like
like I said, man. Look, I'm sure that there is cheating, and look, I think like this is something we said in an earlier video. I don't know when. I think it was a week or two ago, but we'll go ahead and say it again. They both gerrymander like 100%. And
Yeah,
the fact that like there are different legislative systems for how the electoral college delegate works, like you know how like in some states it's district by district, like this 0 point whatever or 1 point whatever has this one electoral vote, and like if that district votes Trump, then it goes to Trump, and if it's Biden whatever. But there are some states that they see what it is for the entire state, like what the majority vote is, and then all of the electoral votes for the entire state goes towards that one candidate. And so,
yeah,
because our country has a non-standardized voting system on a federal level, like basically state policy basically can determine or help determine like federal presidencies, which I think is something that we ought to like address, in some fashion.
yeah. I agree. That has been pretty much like the resounding opinion of like most of the like non-Americans about the elections. Like, hey, why is it that Pennsylvania has completely different election, rules from Florida?
Yeah, 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 exactly. And why is California's voting rules so like starkly? One thing that's interesting about like Ohio is that like our voter registration is like a really straightforward process, and like if you go to the polls, even if you've had a change, like Ohio, there's an absurd amount of provisions that you can do. Like even if you don't have proof, like let's say you move right, and you don't have proof of address, you don't have proof of residency or anything, you can dead ass like you can swear an oath at the polling place to still cast your ballot that day. Did you know that?
I didn't. The interesting thing is, my cousin was actually turned away at a polling place. He
In
was a
Ohio?
dumbass, so he did. Yeah, he was a dumbass, so he didn't like force them to cast a promotion or a provisional ballot. But yeah, he went to try to vote like in the main voting because they live like, in the main kind of city of our county,
Yeah.
and yeah, they basically said like, nope, you're not registered. He'd registered to vote like previously and checked it on the way there, and like when they got there, he was, dude was like, nope, you're not registered. See ya.
Yeah, see,
Come
yeah,
back
I would
next year.
demand that, dude. That's a violation of his civil liberties, man.
No,
Like,
yeah, I agree, but he's a
yeah.
dumbass, so
Even if you have no proof of identity and no proof of residency, you can swear an oath and cast a provisional ballot, and then they'll do a background check on you after that to make sure that your information is valid. And if it's
yeah,
not, I think
exactly.
it could be as high as like a felony charge. Like if you try to like be
Yeah,
too fraudulent about it. So anyway, here's my recent snapshot of the election results, and so far, it was 270 to win as far as electoral votes. Joe Biden currently has 290. Donald Trump currently has 214. And that was taken fairly recently. I don't know when this will be up. Probably a few hours after this, but I think it'll still be accurate enough. So
it'll probably remain accurate for at least a couple weeks.
yeah,
Like
yeah, we'll see what happens.
the only thing that could possibly change like these sorts of results would be like if there actually was widespread voter fraud in all these states.
Yeah,
But
I don't
like
think that they're gonna
with
like. Sure, they're gonna find it in small amounts in certain places sometimes because look, let's be honest, everybody's politically motivated. I
yeah,
don't think it's
but like
so organized that that there's been a coalition and now Donald Trump won't get elected because I don't know. I feel
the
like that just delves into the realm of the conspiracy theories they engaged in when Obama was elected.
yeah, like the you've surrounded these election centers with people with guns and like you still think that they're somehow finding way like I've seen videos of like these idiots harassing like news crews and shit. It's like you got a container, you're smuggling in votes, and it's like it's clearly a tripod. It's like one you can see the tripod legs sticking out of the tripod bag.
But was it
It's
clearly a
ridiculous.
container? That's my real question.
I mean, yeah, you could I assume were you to hollow out, chop off the top two-thirds of a tripod and super glue a plate, you know, conveniently tripod shaped, you could
Honestly, I
probably
think we should
sneak
all
like
have to
300
vote
votes
nude.
in. Yeah, I mean,
We'll do it like one of those. If you ever played GTA 5 and you had like the cocaine op, dude, we'll just have to be in the nude when we do it, just cause. Oh, could you not? could you not, Jansen, put a piece of paper in between your waistband, your stomach, and your shirt?
I suppose I could, but
Ah.
I think that it. I wouldn't call it specifically voter suppression, but like I wouldn't want to go vote. I wouldn't want to see what's going on. Would you want to see the average American naked behind a curtain?
Yeah. You know what, man? Only the brave would vote. I wonder how that would change the demographics. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Yeah.
curious. Because I find it hard to believe that, old conservative people are going to fucking do the nude voting, you know? But hey,
Yeah.
I've been wrong before. They are pretty politically motivated. And
Okay.
so that's interesting. Seems like Joe Biden's gonna win. I don't see a point in dragging it out. Kicking Biden and screaming on the way out. I hope Donald Trump doesn't let the door hit his ass on the way out the door. We'll see what happens there. Um, I don't know. I'll be honest. I was disappointed, but what do you do? So to kind of get into that a little bit, um, I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of a personal story time. Okay. So imagine you've been alive the last 6 months, and let's imagine hypothetically, you follow, somewhat diverse amount, amount of people, and they have some varying political opinions, and let's imagine that some of them are in Biden's camp, and they post headlines and news stories and little their political propaganda and stuff like that every day, and let's imagine that I see the headline all the time that, like, vote as if you're not white, or vote as if you're gay, or vote as if your son was gay, vote like you have a sister, and all that shit. So with Joe Biden, it seems like he kind of carries in his carriage with him the idea of egalitarianism, social justice, racial equality, the end of police brutality. It just seems like his name is now like kind of conflated with those very ideas. And so I'm actually kind of excited for the Biden presidency because he's either going to fix those issues and a whole bunch of people are going to be right, or he's going to do what I think everybody thinks he's going to do and be a lukewarm corporate candidate that the most radical thing he might do is instill the basically the thing that Obama did, the insurance mandate or whatever, like the most, whatever. So either what's going to happen is he's going to be changed like they're talking about, or nothing's going to happen, and we're going to have to realize that, like, these party lines that we're towing all the time, like, they don't mean jack. This hope that they've been talking about Joe Biden, apparently going to bring, doesn't mean jack. Like, they're saying that Donald Trump is an undeniable racist and an undeniable sexist, and if Joe Biden comes into office and does the same things as Donald Trump, i.e., nothing, then I would argue that either Joe Biden is those things or Donald Trump is not those things. Would you agree?
Tommy, the argument that you're not accepting is that the opinion is not that Joe Biden is going to fix any of those things. It is that Donald Trump has specifically regressed our society for the last 4 years.
I mean,
There's no one out there saying that Joe Biden's going to come in and do revolutionary change. The person who's claiming to do revolutionary change is Bernie Sanders, who we all figured. We talked about this earlier. Like, saying that Joe Biden is a paragon of hope, like Obama. Like, the only thing that Joe Biden's got is that he's not Trump. Everyone acknowledges that.
right. I no, but that's the thing. People don't acknowledge that. The people that advocate for Joe Biden, like, there are, like, I agree that there are two camps and whatnot. All I'm saying, look, I'm not saying that people are literally stating that Joe Biden's, the paragon of truth and he's going to be the bringer of justice and all that shit. All I'm saying is that people have boiled down political ideology to the point that because Donald Trump doesn't do what they want, he's the bad thing. And because Joe Biden is saying that he's going to toe this and that line, he's like,
One
this kind
second,
of like
Tommy Parker.
incremental political ideology thing. My whole point is that, like, I don't know. I genuinely think that, like, this could be a learning experience for us. Like, maybe it's naive, but, like, people are stating that Joe Biden, like, he's going to be like the market end of, like, because he's in there, racism will go down. Like, that's like it will become less bad. Race relations will become less bad. The police will be less bad. At least, you have to admit that those, at the very least, those are the arguments being made.
It's not. it's not because it's Joe Biden. It's because it's not Donald Trump. Those are the That's the only valid argument. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like,
Right.
yeah, obviously the hope is that it's going to get better under Joe Biden, but they are allowed to have that little fragment of hope because Donald Trump has spent the last 6 months inflaming racial tensions.
I don't know, man. I just
Like, like
I
trying at like no, like not starting a race war or like not inflaming this brewing one is definitely like a thing that people can
right. I mean, we could talk about how like I understand that again these are like singular stories and whatnot. But, like there are quotes that I could pull right now of Joe Biden saying some off the wall racist ass shit right now. You know what I'm saying? With in his since his political career and all that. So like the idea that if Donald Trump is racist and Joe Biden is racist, they're in the same generation. They've been born in the same three state band. You know, you can't like I just this idea that Joe Biden's going to be so much better because he's not Trump or whatever. Like we're going to see, you know? That's my whole point. You know, you're arguing that, we're going to see. We're going to see what happens. And that's why I'm excited because, you know, we can say all these things left right, you know, left right and about. But at the end of the day, I think the riots are going to get worse. I think that a lot of things are going to get worse. And I'm not trying to be like, you know, like a doom bringer or whatever the fuck. But at the end of the day, I think that this will be a learning experience.
I think so too. The point I'm just trying to make, and I guess we can leave it at that, is like the, none of this is going to fall on Joe Biden. It's not. It's going.
Yeah,
They're going to find some kind of other scapegoat. They're going to if if they instill a bunch of failed policies because of the Republicans, they're going to blame it on fucking Bernie or some shit.
yeah. I see. That's another thing that gets me is that we talked about this a little bit earlier, and I'll go ahead and restate some of the point I made. But I feel like now is different than before in the sense that communication and ideology, like the fact that you just said, you know, you're not necessarily a Biden supporter or whatever, but the fact that you said, hey, you just said, you know, Biden's not that great, but Biden is less bad than Donald Trump, you know, just to sum it up. And I'm not going to say you're wrong or whatever if that's if that's your opinion. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that that is a hell of a fucking leap from what people thought about Obama, like despite rhetoric and shit. So like, I don't know. I think that the buck could actually stop at Joe Biden's feet because I think one thing you can't deny is that every time Trump did anything that was bad or could be construed as bad, it was on the fucking news. It was on the media. You know, on most news
Yeah,
sites. You know, even Fox News had mostly negative stories about Donald Trump if you look at their demographics. So I think that I don't know, dude. I honestly, there could be a weird political time, you know, where there's like 12 years or something, where like every president, you know, like we're not going to reelect this guy because he sucks, and then the next guy sucks, and we're going to say he sucks the entire time. Or I don't know what's going to happen with that, but hopefully this can be a marked end of like this lesser of two evils politicking because like we're going to see that even incrementalism doesn't work. I hope, you know, I'm not necessarily hoping that we don't fix issues. I guess that's just my prediction.
yeah,
But
yeah.
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So it's fine. I have noticed a lot of people like I'm not going to say I called it, but like the the third party vote, I think we're going to, especially once like all the smoke has cleared or whatever. Like the third party vote is going to be a big talking point here soon, I believe, because in all of these states that like Trump won last time and lost this time, every single one, fucking Joe goddamn Jorgensen
Yeah, I
comes
was about to
swooping
say I've
in.
been seeing a lot of percentages of Joe Jorgensen. That's like
hmm
third parties on the
It's
rise. So
Yeah, third part. It's exactly what happened last time. Like the Republican Party, could not. They didn't want to vote for someone who didn't, uphold their morals, like Joe Biden, but they couldn't bring themselves to vote for the party line candidate, Donald Trump.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
like that
also some.
Texas revolution that's been going on the last 4 years or so.
Yeah, and something we're also going to have to talk about is like there's this characterization that like Donald Trump is like not the Republican Party, but like I don't think that that's something that we could. I don't believe that because like he was the Republican Party's president. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I disagree with that. That Donald Trump, like, I mean, that's like saying that Joe Biden isn't the Democratic Party. Like, it's true,
Exactly.
but at the same time, right now, Joe Biden is the Democratic Party's messenger god and shit. Like, I don't know. He basically gets to, like, I don't know, man. Like,
He
I
gets to
agree,
do
but that's just
essentially
there's too many
whatever he wants.
ideologies. There's one ideology for every person. There could be no candidate that literally fully encapsulates like all the ideas of everyone in a party and shit. So like those
Yeah.
those arguments are self defeating just because they're trying to limit like something that's not finite.
Yeah.
But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and pause this right quick and open another one. So yeah, I mean to kind of sum all that up, it's looking like Joe Biden for the next 4 years, and that'll be whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we have all these issues. I think later in a later date, when we're 100% sure, and some of this part of the mystery of Joe Biden is that his platform hasn't really been like on the issues very much. So I don't know. We're going to see what happens because I know that a lot of people want environmental change. They want race relations to be different. They want police, police in action, stuff like that, and their trainings and money and funding and all that. Yeah, that's going to have to go into it. So I think later we should do like kind of a full video on like, hey, we're operating now, we're talking now. Let's talk about what we want Joe Biden to do, whether or not we like Joe Biden or his platform or whatever. Let's just kind of talk about what we think he could possibly attain based off of what he think he could do and what we want. I guess is how I would try to word that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I think that'd be a fun video to do. But so what's interesting about Joe Biden is that they say that he's. I guess this is kind of like my final point on it. They say that he's less bad than Donald Trump, but at the end of the day, he has like they call Donald Trump a rapist, but Joe Biden has had very credible rape allegations for decades. They've been consistent. They weren't politically motivated, from what I've been able to discern. Obviously, basically every famous person has rape allegations, so I'm not saying that should be the end all be all. But and they say that he's racist, but you can find examples of Joe Biden indulging in some well-known racial stereotypes. And then they make all these other claims, inaction here, blunders there, it's stupid and whatever. But can you be more stupid than having a brain that doesn't function? I don't know. So we'll see how that all turns out. The future video ought to be fun. But in any case, if you liked this video, hit the like button. If you liked any of what we talked about, leave us a comment. Uh, hit subscribe if you don't mind. If you want to see more of our content. Uh, any closing statements?
We should. I know we said this the last time, but this time I think we actually will be starting up an Instagram and a Twitter. So be on the lookout for that. And other than that, have a good night.
Yeah. So this isn't like final or whatever, but
Oh.
hopefully you see this early. Joe Biden victory 2020. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Have a good night.